Hi, everybody. Michael Shimidas. I'm going to moderate this discussion. So happy to be here and to sort of unpack the film we just watched. We have the filmmakers, Jeff and Zizka, and we have three of their participants, Sadiq, Jahed, and Javeen. So thank you so much for being here. First off, I just want to acknowledge I have a lot of feelings going on right now. I think there's a lot of inspiration. It was really exciting to see sort of the transition that you all made to sort of growing up, sort of like the work that you've done to sort of improve our communities, and just also a lot of sadness and a lot of pain, and it's really hard. So I just wanted to sort of lead off with that. And I also learned a lot about the three of you, a lot about the participants in the movie, and a lot about Hudson. Even though I've known the three of you for many, many years, I still sort of, it was really interesting to sort of see another side of you. So I really appreciate that. And thank you to Jeff and Zizka for really bringing that out. So I appreciate that. So I'm going to ask a few questions, and then meanwhile, you all have index cards that you can fill out, and sort of there's people around if you hold them up. So I'm going to ask a few questions, then we're going to transition to the questions from the audience. So the next question is going to be for the three of you. I'm going to set it up a little bit. So really, to make communities better, we need people to stand up, to be brave, and to sort of ask for more. And I think that's almost always young people when that happens. At the same time, I see in minority groups and in marginalized groups, and I certainly experienced this as a Jewish person growing up in America, is there's oftentimes a lot of pressure to not air our dirty laundry, or in Yiddish to share our shandas. We want to keep our bad stuff quiet. We don't want to share it to the outside world. And I sort of see this tension in the movie and with your experiences, and I was wondering if you just wanted to share about that.
I guess it's working. All right. Hello, everyone. I guess you guys know who I am. Talking about your analogy of dirty laundry, only we don't want to just hide it, but also clean it. So rather than just, I guess, talk about it is one thing, but acting upon it and trying to help our community get better, it's more important than just, I guess, showcasing it in a documentary. We have a lot to go, a lot to do. This is just a small step forward. Not everyone's going to be happy about it, but you can't make everyone happy, right? So let's see where this takes us.
So to comment on airing the dirty laundry within our communities, I think it comes from an intention of, like you said, wanting to improve it and do what's better. You have to ask yourself, what can be achieved once the word gets out? And will people be more willing to engage with our community, or will they just perpetuate stereotypes, or fuel further animosity, or confirm further biases against us? So that's you kind of have to really grapple with, when you want to really put yourself out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I really commend you a lot on your bravery, all three of you. I wanted to ask a follow-up question that the movie is also quite, thank you, it's quite personal, right? We see a journey that that the three of you and everybody in the six main participants go on. You change a lot, you grew up over the years, and you share a lot of things that might be, you talk about even in the movie, this is public, that a lot of people wouldn't share. And I think that's what makes the story so powerful, and I think it also does set us up to change things, because we need brave people to share those things that are personal, but it's risky. And so I was wondering if you want to talk about, if you want to talk about sort of taking those risks, how you were sort of reflect on taking those risks, or if it felt risky.
Personally, there were many times throughout the documentary where, it would really be scary to share these things, and reflecting on that, I kind of learned what it means to be brave, to press forward, even though it may seem scary, and the documentary itself, I found to engage with it as a vehicle for my personal reflection, to ask myself those heavy questions. And I think to be able to share that with others, I think it might resonate with them as well.
Yeah, if I could just maybe just jump in. I thought for me, like, you know, when we first met, you were like a very young person and you were like that smiling kid on the side of the soccer field that maybe was like too young to be playing, but you were there and you're still like that, you know, this like smiling person, right? But it was really touching for me to sort of see this other side of you that was really deep and really personal and really sort of emotional and grappling. So I appreciated sort of seeing that side of you. So I like thank you for sort of showing that side to all of us.
I said a lot of stuff in the documentary that I said, like, cut, let me say this, just to get it out of my chest. Just don't add this in there just for you to, you know, like a therapy session, a little bit, right? But it's recorded. Maybe in the edits you'll see it. But sometimes we do hold things in. We don't talk about it much because we are scared of how people will react to it. And that causes more pain on ourselves than anything. And starting a dialogue, whether it's talking to yourself in the mirror or talking to a huge crowd of people, it has to start somewhere. And that will teach you to be more open, be more expressive, and show love to yourself, most important thing, because why lie to yourself? It doesn't go anywhere, right?
Yes. Thank you. So there are a few questions that I know that this is like our first official screening, but there's been a fair amount of people who I think who have seen the movie online at first, and so there's a few questions sort of around how is your family or how are people reacting. I know that we got a little bit of that your initial reactions in the film from when you first saw it, but yeah, now that it's first screening now, I guess if you could talk a little bit about what people are saying about it, or like what your apprehensions are, or how your feelings are today about the community feeling it, and particularly maybe your family.
My family has no idea except for my sisters, but they won't be surprised by it. Yeah.
I think my current apprehensions about the film is, you know, what does Islam really mean to us? Mm-hmm. You know, and what value do we place behind the teachings, and, you know, can we really appreciate our tradition?
Yeah.
Right. You know, we're taught in our tradition, you know, the word sin, right? It's an archery term, to be off the mark, right? And, you know, what we're taught, what obedience to God means is to stay within the limits, the hudud, and everything in our tradition is meant to protect one of 6 things: religion itself, human intellect and reasoning, life, protect family, to protect property, and to protect human dignity. So when we want to adhere to our teachings, you know, this is what we want to represent. And my fears, you know, is, am I properly representing our faith? You know, that was one of my main apprehensions with engaging with the film, and whatever I say, would it be represented in my true voice by Zuzka and Jeff, which, after seeing the documentary now for the 3rd time, I have complete faith that, you know, they have captured our voice and our stories in the most beautiful way.
Yeah, my parents haven't seen it. Maybe as time progresses and things are a little less tense, maybe show some clips here and there. But I mean, you know how parents are. So hopefully, when the time comes, they'll see it in parts.
There's a few questions around, I think you talked about faith, and there was a few questions around sort of like relationship to faith. There was, one was like, what has become of the younger brothers who memorized the Quran? I was wondering if you could maybe give some plot updates around that, but also just if you have other thoughts around like the next generation's like approach to faith.
So yeah, Shafi's, or my little brother, he's not little anymore, he's 17 years old, so time flies. He's still in Ohio, he's in his 2nd year studying to become in the same status of alim, which is like a higher level position than where he is right now. Yeah, when it comes to faith, the youth, and being part of the community in Hudson, I tried to, like in the documentary we talk about it shortly, have a little organization where we get them to come to the mosque and learn and to have a good understanding of the faith. Nowadays, it's so polarized, the word, the religion, it can get very tense. And one thing I want is them to have the basic knowledge to stand for themselves and to be proud of who they are for their religion. And Usman, he's in Cornell right now, such a prestigious university. So he can balance both in the religion and academics and flourish in both. And it's just showing that for the youth, it's possible to continue to work on the path of education and also have that religious knowledge. It's possible, and you should be able to learn both.
So, in the Islamic definition of faith, it's defined as the belief in one God, belief in the angels, the scripture, that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is the prophet, and all the prophets before him. And when it comes to the youth approaching faith, we live in the age of information, right? There are many voices out there, and it's hard to know who to listen to. And what I would say to the youth to approach faith is to, like I said in the documentary, there are people out there who do have your best intentions for you out there, and to stick with them, and to really limit, because it's very easy to become radicalized in this environment of social media, and there's confirmation bias with the algorithms and stuff like that too. So when it says to approach your faith, just stick to those who really mean you well.
Other than that, everybody else in the community, thank you guys.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for giving us the experience of our lives.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody. Refreshments downstairs.